Hello Odooers and welcome to this tutorial on payment methods. When you sell online, offering the right payment method can make all the difference between a completed order and an abandoned cart. Whether your customers prefer paying with a card like Visa, a local option like Bank Contact in Belgium, or a digital wallet, flexibility is key. In Odoo, these payment methods are connected to what we call payment providers, services like Adyen that handle the transaction securely behind the scenes. So instead of setting up each payment method one by one, you simply connect a provider and it gives you access to all the options it supports. In this video, we'll walk through how to set up a payment provider, configure the available methods, and make sure your customers can pay exactly the way they want. Let's do this. Now, the first thing you need to do is choose a payment provider. Feel free to choose the one you want. It just needs to fit your needs and be supported by Odoo. Note that Odoo supports almost all the biggest payment providers, and you can find a list of them on our online documentation. Once you've chosen one, you only need to go to the provider's website and create an account. In our case, we already created an account with the provider Adyen. Now we need to install it and link it to Odoo. To do this, we'll head to the settings and we will type payments in the search bar. Now this configure payment methods is the option we are looking for, and we will just click on Find a payment provider. Here we have a multitude of providers. There are two main categories: custom payment providers and external payment providers. Custom providers are, for example, cash on delivery, wire transfer, or pay on site if you activated the click and collect option in the settings. That means that in order to use these methods, you do not need an intermediary to process transactions. The external ones are all the other ones you see here, and for which you need an account. Of course, you're not required to know by heart all the providers and what methods they provide. So to make things easy, you can just use the search bar. And you can search for the method you want to make available on your website. For example, we will type Bank Contact, which is a very popular method in Belgium, and then we'll click on Search Payment Methods. And here we see all the providers that offer the payment via Bank Contact. It's great because this way you can adapt your payment method to the country's market. If we type something broader, like just card, for example, and search, then we get all the providers that offer to process payments made with a card. And as we already have an account on Adyen over here, then we'll simply click on Install. Perfect. Now we'll configure it by clicking on Activate. First, you can choose whether the provider is disabled, enabled, or in test mode. Some providers offer specific credentials for testing environments. If you have these, you can select Test Mode, and then you can add these credentials in the Credentials tab, which we'll see in a minute. In this mode, no real payment will be made, but the transaction process can be tested. So, let's look at the Credentials tab. Here, you can add the credentials for this payment provider that you'll find on your account on your provider's site. So we'll add ours from Adyen. Okay, now in the Configuration tab, you can set up several important options that control how payments are processed on your website. The Payment Methods field lets you see the payment methods the provider will offer, like credit cards, bank transfer, or digital wallets. This Allow Saving Payment Method option lets your customers save their payment details for future purchases. If enabled, like this is the case here, returning customers can check out faster because they won't need to re-enter their payment information. This is particularly useful for businesses that sell subscriptions. The Capture Amount Manually option is useful for businesses that need to confirm an order before charging the customer. This is useful when you want to charge your customer's card only when you are sure you can ship the goods to them. When enabled, Odoo will authorize the payment but won't capture the amount immediately. You can capture it later when you're ready to finalize the order. Going on the right, we have the Availability section. Now here you can set restrictions like a minimum and maximum order value, so to only allow this payment method for orders under 100 euros, for example, as well as limit usage to specific currencies, countries, and price lists, or leave it open to all. Finally, we'll go to the Messages tab, where we have several messages that fit this payment provider. For example, when a payment has been authorized, this message will be displayed to the customer, and I can change it if I want to. Okay, last thing to do to make all of this work is, of course, to publish the provider. Okay, now let's go to our website and try all of this out. So we'll go to the shop and we'll select this mango mug. We'll add it to the cart. And if you remember, we said that this payment method had a minimum of 100 euros. So let's just go to 100 so that we're sure that the payment method appears. When we continue, at the payment stage, we see the payment method we set up. Now, these two are the ones linked to Adyen. There are also orange triangles next to them, but that's just to warn us that they are in test mode. Once we enable the Adyen method, then the triangles will just disappear. Now, to pay, clients can just select the payment method and then fill in their info, and then they can just place their order. And over here, we have the Save My Payment Details checkbox that we saw earlier in the options. And there you go. Now, your clients can choose the easiest method to pay for their purchases. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to check our online documentation for more information on this topic. See you in the next video.